I could watch over and over again. It's like The Big Sleep with Humphrey Bogart. You know, there are a few films out there. But to me, Alien is one of those movies, or Blade Runner. You know, I could watch that every day, you know, and not get bored with it. But because the thing is also about science fiction. It's like if they do it right, which they did in both Blade Runner and Alien, there's so much rich detail in the film. It's like you can just have your mind working actively, just trying to figure out all these sets and all these little signs, you know, that in there. Like, what does this mean? Like where they have the triangle turned upside down and a line under it, you know, for one of the little signs in there, you know, where they're all sleeping at. You know, they don't explain what that is, but it gives it that sort of richness, you see what I'm saying? That makes it seem real, like this is a real, you know, real future space. And it's the whole idea, like George Lucas said, we're not making, in THX 1138, we're not making a movie about the future, we're making a movie from the future. You know, like you're watching it, like somehow we copy of this, it went through a black hole, a time machine, and you're watching a movie from the future that people from the future would understand, but the audience watching it would miss a lot of things in there. You know, and Alien had some of that, I think, element to it. I mean, my favorite scene in Alien was the scene where, you know, you got the countdown going, the ship's falling apart, she's got the blowtorch, and now there's just all this CO2 coming out in flames and everything, making all and alarms going off. And it's like now you need to be able to hear what's going on because you're trying to make it to the shuttle to make it to safety. But you can't because there's, you know, the ship's falling apart at this moment, you know, and the lights are flashing. And to me, you know, that whole thing, and there's that clock that's ticking where you got to get off this ship. It's like, to me, there's no other movie that really captured, you know, a moment like that. It's like, oh my God, this is really going as bad as it can get. You know, it's pushing the limit of what we define a bad scenario to be. It just keeps getting worse, and we just keep pushing further and further to that limit of how bad it truly can get. Mm-hmm. You know, but the whole idea in writing and storytelling is you put your characters in the worst possible situations, and you see them trying to find solutions to work their way out of it. That's what drama is, and what we can learn from their own trials, like in Gone with the Wind. What Margaret Mitchell, Scarlett, go through, and what she learns, you know, and how to survive, you know, the aftermath of the Civil War, and how to prosper and get ahead and raise a family, you know, and have a future for her family and the next generations of kids. You know, but I mean, what were some of the things you really liked about the film? I mean,
well, I love the set design, the art design.
Oh yeah.
The way that they created the planet and the alien ship.
Oh yeah, it didn't look like I've never seen before in any science fiction movie.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of those were like bones on the wall, like a beehive type of thing, you know.
Was it inhabited by the fossils of these giant creatures?
Well, what the spaceship was I read the novel, just so you know. But what it was an aircraft carrier, and you know, but they wanted to go with more of a beehive type of look. You know, to these aliens, the advanced aliens who live there, this is what is comfortable for them. You see what I'm saying? This is the look they feel comfortable and natural with. You see what I'm saying? So they went for like bones everywhere, you know, mixed in with some metal. But you know, but that's what they're used to seeing. That's what they like to see. That's what makes them feel good. You know, but the thing is the aliens were actually a biological weapon system, and they got loose in the ship. And they killed the crew, but then they were stuck on this planet. But before they died, they put out this warning signal for everyone to stay away from the ship. You know, and that's where the problem begins, because they pick up the signal and they don't decipher it in time and figure out it's not a distress, but a warning. Stay away, danger. You know, danger, Will Robinson. You know, but to me, I mean, one of the things that really broke that film, that really pushed it, you know, where I give it such a high rating, was Giger's art design. I mean, and that alien looked like, I really felt like it was like a giant insect, parasite, predator. You know, it was like this giant insect. You know, one of the things that that's interesting to me is this. The story is it didn't look like a guy in a rubber suit. This thing was scary as hell. This thing, it's like as I was watching this thing, I'm crapping my pants. This thing is terrifying to look at. It absolutely is. And you don't feel like it's a special effect. You feel like it's the real thing coming to kill you and eat you. Just this like mindless, heartless, emotionless killing machine. It's like it's an insect. It wouldn't think twice about killing and eating you. It just it's like your food. I'm hungry. Boom. That's it. There's no sense of remorse there. And to me, one of the most chilling scenes was the scene with Ash, where you realize what a monster he is, that he actually admires this thing. You realize, oh my God, this guy really is evil. Ash is, and the fact that he's part of a greater evil, this whole evil, gives you that greater sense of being in hell. And to me, that's one of the things, there was no trust or intimacy between the characters. Even Tom Skerritt, who at first appears to be kind of a good guy in the movie, he's really not that good as you get to know him. Like when she says, I don't trust Ash, Ripley says, and he looks at her and says, I don't trust anybody. He's a very cynical, damaged person. And one of the messages of the film was they're in danger. They're trying to save their lives. And these people are so cynical, they're so dysfunctional, that they have trouble even pulling together as a team, for something that's mutually beneficial to all of them, their own self-preservation. That's an important message, we can learn from. But it was done so subtly, and it was weaved in so smoothly into the film that I think it just, while it worked on an emotional level, I think intellectually most people who watched it just didn't get it. You see what I'm saying? But to me, I mean, one of the things I wanted to talk to you about was, in some ways, I actually like the sequel by Cameron better than the first film. But I have to say, for originality, and daring and innovation, I have to give Alien, the first movie, the credit as the better of the two, because it was so groundbreaking for its time. And Cameron took, it's like you got a railroad track, you got the tracks laid down already. It's like, okay, we already know what works. We're just going to lay a few more tracks and we're going to make the train run faster. That's kind of what I felt about Aliens. Don't get me wrong, I watched Aliens several times in the theater when it came down. I loved the movie. I was too young to see Alien when it was in the theater. This is a true story. I actually asked James Cameron to take me to see Alien because I was too young to see it. I met him. He said, I'd love to, but I'm working as a truck driver. I got to leave in a little bit. Otherwise, I would. I was like, oh, darn, because my dad wouldn't take me to see it. I didn't see the movie until years later, came out on video, and I had to watch it then. But then I was watching on a tiny little TV screen, not in 70 millimeter. I mean, this is a big screen movie. And it's like Star Wars. You watch it on a little TV screen, you're like, what's the big deal? But you watch it on a big movie screen. It's like, oh, wow, I'm blown away. I'm completely sucked into this. I mean, but the thing to me that really just worked was just how seamless the character development was. Some interesting characters in there. And how you overlook it because you're so caught up in the danger of the moment. That's one of the things I liked about the film. But I will say this. Which did you like better, Alien or Aliens?
Well, they're very different films.
Yeah.
I don't know which one I like better. I think they're just so different. They both have things about them that are incredibly good and well done.
Oh, yeah. Well, I've said this. Okay, Alien, science fiction, horror. Aliens, science fiction, action. Funny because, it's like both of them work for what they are. And, one of the funny stories is listening to people talk and listening to some people say why they liked Aliens better than the first film. And one person said, it just wasn't fair in the first movie. This thing is a weapon. It's a biological weapon killing machine. It's going up against a handful of mechanics. What chance did they have? Very little, When it went up against Marines in the second film, that was a fair fight. The first movie, they just got slaughtered.